Hello, IVA families. We have an update for you regarding distance learning. First, I want to make sure that we introduce ourselves. I am Jackie Bryant. I am your principal.
Everyone, I'm Amos Mikaela, and I'm the counselor.
Hello, I'm Dama Perez. I'm the program administrator.
So, IVA previously announced that we'd be able to return to in-person or hybrid learning as early as January 29th for our spring semester. But COVID rates continue to increase in LA County, and in consultation with the Health Department, LA County, California Department of Education guidelines, at this point, schools are not being given permission to return in person, and we do not have a clear timeline of when that permission would be given, when the rates would decrease. Therefore, IVA is preparing to continue distance learning into the spring semester. We're not able to give you a timeline or a date to expect a return in person, though we would notify families when it becomes possible. Our student and staff safety is the first priority. Understanding that an in-person return timeline is really unclear, we're working internally to build our resilience, to imagine distance learning through the end of the school year. We have discussed this with our faculty and staff, but we also want to be able to give you this information so that you, as a family like us, can hope for a safe in-person return this year, but also prepare yourselves to continue distance learning through the upcoming spring semester.
And given this information, I know that many families struggle with online learning in its own. But I just want to acknowledge that online learning is sort of a surface level issue for lots of families at IVA. And I know that beneath it, there's just a plethora of levels of difficulties that families face amongst themselves and in their home environment that us as a school are completely unaware of. So I think about the families that have parents who have to leave home and have their child work from home and find a way to keep focused during online learning. And I'm also thinking about the families that have to work at home alongside with their students, finding a way to support them while getting their job done. And then I also think about the families that have to take their kids out to a family or a friend's house to drop off and pick up at the end of the day. But all of this is to say that there are many different levels of struggle. And as a school, we want to say that we see you, we hear you, and that we applaud you for your resilience. And through it all, we want to stay committed in supporting you this upcoming semester in order to keep serving our students and families well.
And as challenging as this time has been, we want to acknowledge and recognize the few successes that we have had over the last few months. Our average daily attendance during the fall semester is 98%, which is similar to what it's been in the past during in-person instruction. Students, we know that showing up requires extra motivation on your part, and we commend you for your tenacity during this time. Our staff is committed to serve families well, often calling homes when students drop off from Zoom calls or are disconnected. Our teachers continue creating and adapting lessons that are innovative and care for the social emotional well-being of our students. IVA has continued to connect families to meals, provide hotspots for families who need them, and implement platforms for students to connect with peers and adults. Students continue forming relationships during weekly advisory meetings as well as through 13 student-led clubs. We recognize the importance of meaningful connections, and our hope is to continue providing that regardless of the instructional format.
So, IVA is a school that believes in continued growth. And because we believe in continued growth, we can end up being a school with really high expectations. Personally, we want each day, each moment to be meaningful and challenging and supportive. That is a lot. And it's a lot when we're also dealing with feelings of disconnection or just plain screen exhaustion. As you can imagine distance learning through this spring, please take note of the questions that come up for you. What kind of supports do you feel like you need to seek out? What kind of coping do you know that you're going to need to personally employ if this continues through the end of the year? As you're thinking of those things, please write them down because we want you to bring your questions. You can either email them to us or you can bring them to a fireside chat that we're going to hold for questions and answers January 5th. 4:30 p.m. We will send out notice of this. As we head into the holiday, we hope your family can remember how resilient you are, how resilient your students are. We continue to be your middle school dedicated to deeply formative growth of your child's intellectual character. We are here to serve your family well so your children can learn and live well. We hope that you and your family have a really good holiday, and we look forward to connecting with you in January.